Today on this episode of Abby's Assignments, we'll be discussing risky play, but before we start today, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wadawurrung people, on which I am located, and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. Hello peers, assessors, families and friends who I have sucked into listening to me talk. I hope everyone is having an absolutely wonderful day. For my third assignment for this unit, Engaging with Plays Through Play, I want to discuss risky play, the pros, the cons, and the impact it has on the child's development. Now, for some context, I've worked in this industry for 6 years, and during that time I've seen and heard of some pretty nasty incidents and injuries. So when risky play was brought up as a topic, I was a bit surprised. But as I continued to read on, my views began to shift and I started reflecting on my own practices. One of my favourite quotes that came up at the start of the land is, "That's better a broken bone than a broken spirit," which is said by Claire as she quotes Lady Allen. At first, this quote was absurd to me. If I was at work and a child had injured themselves to that extent under my care, I would be devastated and would probably never want to go back to work. But as I continue to study and continue to explore, it made me reflect on the children I am working with every day, and how I am limiting them with my fears and anxiety. During the land, at around 13 minutes 40 seconds, Dave explains the differences between risks and hazards in a perfectly simple way.
Risks and hazards are different things. That's a kid taking a risk, something they're choosing to interact with, you know?
That's where it's smoke.
If a half-burnt block falls off the fire and they step on a nail that's sticking out of it, that's not them taking a risk. That's a hazard to that child. That child's not aware of it. But it's the stuff they can't see that's our job. Our job is to remove things that can cause them harm.
A risk is something they are choosing to interact with, while a hazard is something that the child is not aware of. So yeah, simply, risky play is about letting children explore and experiment in and with the hazard-free environment. But why?
It's that sweet spot between that initial anxiety and then, oh, I actually got this. It is good for a child's physical, social and emotional development because they can then assess the situation and problem solve to overcome these circumstances that may cause harm out. Just allowing risky play in general means that you're allowing a child trust and independence in themselves, but also coping with difficult situations and just that thrill in general of finding that sweet spot between risk and fun. It's teaching a child that just because you fall doesn't mean you should not get back up again.
That was Jennifer Kavanagh from Dublin City University talking about the physical, social and emotional developmental impacts when children are provided with the opportunity to engage in risky play. So, we have heard about how risky play has a positive impact on a child's development, but how does that fit in with our kinder system today? Of course, there is a reason why playgrounds and care settings are made by adults for kids with adult ideology in mind, but a study published in February 2018 by Morgan Leach-Saxby and Jill Wood found that a statistical analysis of serious student injuries that occurred during play was undertaken at the Parish School in Houston. Data was collected over a 5-year span. While serious injuries during play were rare, a statistically significant majority of them occurred on the fixed equipment playground. The adventure playground at the same school was found to be statistically safer. Now, this study only focused on a group for 5 years and may differ between different groups and different locations. You still have to admit that these findings were very interesting to read and reflect on. Is this really the best way to set up these learning environments? So, to conclude this shamble of a podcast, the pros: children are given a safe space to learn valuable life lessons and work on their developmental skills that will support them in their journey of life. And the cons: sometimes they're going to get hurt, but it's our job to teach them that that's okay and to get up and try again, because what's a little bit of paperwork now for a grazed knee? Thank you for taking your time to listen, and I hope you took something from this as I did. See ya!